nice dramatic music, but maybe I didn't need it now. I'm here rather dramatically running in the room. It kind of works well now, doesn't it? A little bit of anxiety. So, good morning, everyone. Good with your fans. Nothing a bit of anxiety driving than knowing you're in 2 minutes on the stage trying to get here. So, I'm here today not to tell you about a comeback moment or even to play on your anxiety. I'm here to kind of inspire you, pretty much, I suppose, as I've done in my life, to say, fuck it, and let's sparkle. Because, do you know what? Things are tough right now. I previously, in my career, I've had a 30-year media and advertising career. I talk about it stretching from analog to AI. I have built lots of brands for businesses and inadvertently probably built a personal brand as well. But you know what? I think it's easy to say the world is on fire in some ways, not just in the heat here, but in every respect. And it's tough. You know, in an age of automation and the age of artificial intelligence and huge disruption and change around us, to be quite honest, if you're not a brand, you're very easily replaceable. As I say here, you know, you just could be a bio and a job title. There needs to be more there. It's been interesting over the last few weeks seeing how many of the other leaders are coming out talking about it. So, just before I dive into this, I've put here, I have used quite a few F words. I'm sorry, maybe I was feeling angry when I wrote this, but who the fuck am I to stand here running in to talk to you in my sequence? Well, I talk about myself as being a reinvention artist, sparkle strategist, proud disruptor, and to be quite honest, probably one of the best hype women you're ever going to meet. And I'm here to help you stand out. So, as I say, world is on fire. You know, I think there was, I'm not going to depress you too much, but there was bits of research I'm sure many of you have seen. McKinsey have talked about 30% of a lot of the tasks that we do being automated. There was another piece of research, I think by Accenture. It is all the management consultants. I'll take note of that. But it was another one that talked about the fact that 30% of first-level entry jobs are simply disappearing, falling away from what we have today. But the fact is, when things are going the way they are, globally, economically, strategically, it's not a moment to quit. It's a moment to restart, and it's a moment to reinvent. Because this isn't your crisis. In actual fact, this is your moment. This is your casting call to step into the spotlight and say, right, here's my moment to reinvent. I'm 52. In the last 2, maybe 3 years, I have left a career I had at Google for 10 years. As I say, 30 years kind of corporate. I left my marriage of 20 years, very amicably. We're still friends. And I hit complete reset on my life. I used that moment of crisis, a calling for me that simply wanted more. I wanted more fun. I wanted more impact. I wanted more sequins. And I wanted to do more to help other women because I've spent so much of my career observing too many women standing in the shadows. So consider this your casting call today. Because one of the things that's really clear, and you're going to hear so many things about AI, and let it be known, I am a huge AI fan. I am an evangelist of using AI products. I spent a lot of my time, my latter years at Google working on AI. But I can say with a huge amount of certainty, automation isn't the thing that's going to kill your career. It's anonymity and actually apathy. If we kind of just go, oh, it's going to happen, nothing I can do. Whether it's the fact that you want to reinvent yourself, embark on a new career, chase being a founder, chase that dream, chase that promotion, whatever it might be, apathy cannot be a mode you sit in. Anonymity is not an option anymore. No longer can we hide in the shadows. And this isn't about a moment for the extroverts. This is a moment for everyone. Because the greatest thing we have now is a way that we can express ourselves and tell different stories in order to stand out. So, everybody, in the words of Dolly, pour yourself a cup of ambition. Here are 5 villains. I'm pretty sure we're all going to recognize these. I have definitely faced all of them at some point or another in my career, and probably even every day. The 5 villains that are holding us back, keeping us stuck, keeping us perhaps from pursuing what we really want to do. Perfection paralysis. Everyone been there? That moment of going, "Oh, I can't put that post out. I can't get up. I don't want to put myself forward for that job. I don't want to get up on stage and do that because it's not quite right." I was with a recruiter the other day at an event I was doing for women in PR, and he said to me that we've all heard this stat about how often we look at a job description and we go, well, I only meet that many things, that many of the criteria. I don't meet all of them. And he says he sees it so regularly in the women, particularly the women that he works with. And he said he could tell you now, 100% of the people employing others do not expect anyone to meet all the criteria. So we've got to stop putting those unnecessary demands on ourselves. Comparisonitis. Anyone suffer from that? Yes, we do. Even if we don't want to think we do, we do. Sometimes I have to shut down my social media when I can feel it taking over. We don't need to compare anyone else. Stay in our lane, focus on where you're going. Fear of being cringe. Anyone here who's got teenage children, you're cringe from the minute you wake up or breathe. So you can't do anything about that with kids. In the rest of the world, do you know what? Cringe is where the best shit happens. When you're pushing yourself into cringe, it means you're stretching yourself and you're trying. I put a TikTok video that I know will one day haunt me. It probably is already haunting me. But I did it on purpose because I know a year from now, I'll look back on that and I will be better. And every time I go, I'm going to get myself on video, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to dream bigger. Yeah, it feels uncomfortable. It feels a bit cringe, but I push myself there. The corporate filter. I think we've all probably experienced that bit, oh, I can't say that. Oh, no, I'm not allowed to do that. Office politics, corporate politics, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's really necessary. It's brilliant to see how many organizations are now embracing personal branding, employment branding, recognizing the value of people actually showing their personality and credibility. But the corporate filter is real. And too often we're scared to be truly ourselves for fear of judgment. I probably would have started wearing sequins a lot earlier in my career if I wasn't scared of the corporate filter. And then the one we all know, our dear, dear friend, the inner critic. Shut her up, put her away, and push through that. And there's all sorts of people who will tell you great strategies around there, but it is one of the most crippling things we face. So, in the kindest of terms, fuck what other people think. This is you, your journey, your story. Now, one of the ways to overcome those fears and to stand out is to unlock the greatest and most powerful bit of AI. And it already is inside of you. I don't have to try and compete with all of the other AI tech bros because we have the most incredible AI inside of us. I talk about the other AI as authentic intelligence. Authentic intelligence. We use authenticity quite a lot in the marketing industry. And sometimes I'd like to say, do we pause and really understand what it means? Because authenticity isn't just about saying the right thing or sharing a little bit about yourself. It's about aligning your values with what you do and how you express yourself and how you spend your time, what you focus on. How much of you choose to share of yourself? I think authenticity got a bad rep when we kept sharing pictures of our breakfast. If that's your thing, no judgment. But authenticity is way deeper than that. And it's also something you craft over a very long period. Your entire life will be being determined, discovering who you really are. I can still say now, I think I've learned to be probably more my truer self than ever before. And that's taken me 5 decades to get there. So the reality is being clear on who you are without getting too woo-woo is genuinely the magic that you have. Because in a world where, let's remember, artificial intelligence, and a lot of our industry, if we look at our ads, actually the whole purpose of MadFest saying, let's be less boring. The danger of artificial intelligence, as brilliant as it is to create efficiency and effectiveness, is it creates sameness. It's the plague of sameness that comes to our personal brands, our work ethic, whatever it might be, is it all looks the same. We're all put into boxes. And having spent a lot of time looking at the impact of AI in the workplace and from a regulatory point of view, and the reports are now coming thick and fast, I can tell you now, it'll be less about what you can do. It'll be about who you are and what makes you different. So, authentic intelligence over artificial noise every day of the week. And look, we're all pissed off with the volume of AI shit that's out there, particularly comments on LinkedIn. I don't know if I'm talking to a robot anymore, if anyone's out there, but I kind of mess with the robots every now and then and say things that I know that kind of screws with their algorithms. So be you. It sounds so simple and obvious, but it takes time and it's bloody hard. Because being you requires you to step over fear. It requires you to dream big. It requires you to step into the unknown. Our brains, don't forget, for anyone who's studied any kind of neuroscience, our brains are developed on our own little algorithm on increased patterns of what we've always done. So staying over here is so comfortable, even if I bloody hate it. And even I want to moan about it every day. I love it. It's comfortable. I know what I'm doing. Stepping over here, terrifying as shit. No idea. Don't know how this is going to play out. Don't know what the ending is. But it's when you go into that space, that's when the magic happens. So no more quiet quitting. Why be quiet quitting? Why about try loud becoming? What about if we flip that script? We don't need to skulk away. So here's a bit of the magic. The fuck it framework. For everyone who needs that moment to go from ignored to iconic. Because let's face it, in our lives, we're all going to have a fuck it moment. And sometimes when I've had to push through the greatest moments of fear, and I've got to challenge myself to go, yep, I'm going to go and do that. What's the 2 words I go? Fuck it. It's like Mel Robbins has 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jay, the one who loves the monks, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 1, 2, fuck it. All equally effective. So, my very quick 4 points here. Own your origin story. Sounds simple again, but unless you take time to really think about what's the thing that makes you different, special, what's your magic ingredient, and how do you tell that story? If you're marketeers, you work in advertising or media, you are all too familiar with the power of telling stories. But let me tell you, I stood in a room full of 100 of the very best women in PR, and every single one of them said to me, really struggle to tell my story and stand out. Their whole job is to make other people look brilliant. So we know how hard it is. I spent years building other brands without really being conscious about what it took to build my own. So say it, share it, sell it. And what I mean by sell it is you don't just say, tell your story and put it out there. You market the fuck out of it. You think about where you want to share it. What aspects do you want to tell people? Now, curate your loud squad. Hopefully you're going to be really loud at the end of this, but curate your loud squad because I want you to surround yourself with walking megaphones. Sounds simple, but it's really important to find your little crew of people. I sometimes say to find 3 or 4 people that you can immediately WhatsApp today and go, do you know what? I'm going to go off and do something really brave. I'm going to try and tell my story or reinvent myself or step into my spotlight or post on LinkedIn or do a talk or go for the promo, go raise funding, whatever. But get 3 or 4 people you can regularly WhatsApp who are going to do nothing more than cheer you on. You will not believe the power of being a hype woman for another woman. I could genuinely make a career just out of being a hype woman. Wear your power. Now look, I would love everyone to wear sequins all day long, even if I'm a bit hot today. Sequins are still great and cool. But being identifiable, and I don't mean this just wear your power in the literal sense of clothing. I mean in the way that you swagger. I mean that you own it. You don't be apologetic and go, oh, I think I'm going to do this. No. Loud, proud, stand into it. And do you know what identifiable means of something that's just you? It might be the way you wear your hair. It might be some glasses. It might be something, a colour, whatever. It's so important. Anyone who works in branding or marketing will know design cues, colour cues, memories around how we see and think about things and brands are so important. Exactly the same applies to you as individuals. So find your thing and own it. And hey, I would be delighted if next year I was invited back to speak here and you all wore sequins. Now, admire loudly. Chimamanda Ngozi, the amazing author, actually has an amazing quote or phrase that she says, never admire quietly. Well, I just make that simply, admire loudly. I teach everyone this. When everyone's standing at that point of fear and scared to make that first step into going to try, even if it's something as putting something on social media, sending an email, whatever it might be, the best way to do that is get your training wheels on. The way you get your training wheels on is you spend time observing, recognizing, appreciating others. That doesn't always mean agreeing. You can respectfully disagree. You can have an opinion and join in dialogue. But if you do not vocally or through your words or however express that, it sits inside you. And the best thing about this is actually a bit of neuroscience, something I've only discovered recently, is that actually when you do that, so make it a practice. I do this regularly, and it's such a great place to be. I will spend time, whether it's in social media or otherwise, saying to, I really thought it was interesting. I like that. And I don't mean smile and emoji. I mean a proper comment. and go, this was interesting because of this. Like, I've taken time, this is why it moved me. I walk down the road and go, I love your shirt, as I might say to somebody. I don't hold it inside me, I tell them. What it does, it trains part of your brain to become much more self-aware about yourself. So when you're starting to think about how you talk about you, you're instantly starting to recognize it. And to be quite honest, ladies, we need to do a lot more to support each other. Because far too often I hear from people who say they want more female allyship as well as male allyship. So let's step up and make sure we're changing that. So, to end with, visibility isn't vanity, it's power. Once you step into and embrace that, and there's a really simple way to write this. You need to write yourself some notes. Actually, my other top tip for you, I was a bit obsessive about using Apple Notes. I write all sorts of things that pop in my head that I know I'm going to forget. I now voice note, I now talk to ChatGPT, and besides, he's got very smooth tones and it says really lovely things to me. I was like, hey, Nishma, you're great today. I'm like, oh, thanks. I voice note through the day. And either at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I can go back and go, could you put together all the things that I talked to you about this week? I don't even have to remember them. That's a little top tip. Visibility isn't vanity, it's power. And I think this idea of setting yourself, what is the thing that you want your power to do? I firmly believe in financial freedom for everyone, particularly for women. I don't talk about necessarily just equity or equality. I talk about financial freedom. Because when you have financial freedom, you have choice and you have agency. And we've seen the societal impact when you do that. So, you're never going to know until you try. And I'm going to ask you to raise hand. Is everyone, who in here is going to walk out of here and either say something lovely to someone else, write a post, thank them, applaud, admire loudly and do it? Yes. Because you're never going to know until you try. And I can guarantee you start working your personal brand, your visibility, it's going to make a huge difference. I work with a lot of women, not just in the Glittersphere, but as sort of personal clients I work with. And I cannot tell you the transformational benefit and improvement in their lives, their happiness, but their success when they start stepping out the shadows. So, fuck it. And go sparkle. I want you to be unignorable, because you've got to walk around and imagine it's not a fire alarm, it's a song. I want you. I should have taken that bit out of the track. Right, you're going to give me a 1 minute dance. Up, let's get the energy, because you're going to figure it out. Come on, dance me. Can I turn it up a bit? Come on.
What's my name, y'all? What's my name, y'all? Come on. Can I turn you on by my word spell? Look into my eyes, think I want you, can't tell. Me, I keep it sexy, daddy, so I can't fail. Keep it gangster for the cowards, so I give them hell. Call me misfit, lips for the gang of trash. Wrist bliss now, cause I made a gang of cash. Like glam, still street with
Thank you so much. No more Who's That Girl. Go shine.